Reese's, M&Ms, and I could go on. Whenever I eat chocolate, I suddenly feel happy and satisfied, but it doesn't last that long. So I take another bite, then another, and another, until I'm left holding just the wrapper. Now, I want you to imagine that every time you reach for your phone, you're actually reaching for a piece of chocolate. Each quick scroll or notification check equals one bite. After a few hours, you've probably had 4 bars, but by dinner, over 12. Disgusting, right? Now you feel sick. You wonder how you even got to this point. Well, your phone works in the same way. Unlike eating chocolate, where you might just have a stomachache for a few hours, you can't feel the mental damage that is being done by your phone. It is changing the way you focus, the way you feel, and the way you connect with others. Once you understand what's actually happening, you can take back control and make a change. Many times I go on my phone just to check the weather or send a quick text, but 20 minutes later, I'm on social media, and not only do I forget what I need to do in the first place, but even the last video I just watched. A study done by Dr. Gloria Mark of University of California in Irvine shares how our attention span has shrunk from 2.5 minutes to only 47 seconds on average. Only 47 seconds. That's shorter than a TV commercial. And it gets worse. Another study done by Carrie Starhart, a research psychologist at the U.S. Army Research Institute, shares how just receiving one notification, not even reading it, is enough to disrupt focus and impair task performance. And Dr. Mark found that it takes a total of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to regain full focus after interruption. 23 minutes for one notification. These studies show how the change in our attention span has expanded beyond our phones and into our everyday lives. We rush through conversations, tasks, and even our own thoughts. Why is it so hard for us to let go of things we know have a negative impact on our lives? And why has it become normal not to? I mean, we could just delete the app, but we know we are just going to re-download it hours later. I thought it was just lack of willpower, that I was the weak one falling victim to my phone. But it turns out it's actually way more complicated than that. It all comes down to dopamine. You've probably heard this word in connection to phones or video games. Dopamine is a natural chemical messenger in the brain and body that acts as a feel-good neurotransmitter, driving motivation, pleasure, and reward-seeking behavior. Every notification, message, scroll triggers a small dopamine hit that urges you to check your phone more often, just like having one Hershey Kiss makes you want another soon after. David Greenfield, a research psychologist studying technology addiction, describes how devices lure users using powerful tactics, one of which is called intermittent reinforcement. The idea that a user could get a reward at any moment but never knows exactly when. Just like a slot machine. Users are lured with lights and sounds, but even more powerful, information and rewards aimed at a user's likes and interests. And young people are especially at risk. The parts of the brain responsible for resisting temptation and rewards aren't nearly as developed in teenagers as in adults. Greenfield states that teenagers are all about impulse and not a lot about the control of that impulse. But you might be wondering, why does this even matter? What does this even mean for me right now? It means that you're not only wasting time, but never feeling satisfied no matter how long you scroll. And I know because it happened to me. Last month, I watched 20 minutes of videos about ways to become the most productive, disciplined, best version of myself. I felt motivated, inspired, and ready to actually change my life. But ask me today if I went on to make that change. I did not. But these videos were the dopamine hits that I had been craving all day. Instant gratification that kept me wanting more. And the algorithm plays the biggest role in this. Here's how it works. Every time you post something, every time you swipe, every second you watch, every search, the app is tracking everything. It then builds a profile of what keeps you hooked. Then it shows you more of it, then more and more, and over time you aren't discovering different ideas. The app is just feeding you with things you love. And I can admit that I fell for this trap. When I was in 8th grade in 2022, I had just downloaded TikTok. I know I was a bit late to the pandemic madness, but I still wasn't prepared for what I was about to get pulled into. There was so much to see, and I didn't want to miss a thing. So I got stuck. I saw a cool video of someone making matcha ice cream. And one thing about me is that I love matcha. I looked up similar recipes, and suddenly my entire For You page was full of ice cream videos, then dessert videos, then baking videos, and then suddenly I'm watching someone renovate their entire kitchen. I didn't search for any of it, I just kept watching. And before I knew what was happening, 45 minutes were gone. I had the choice to stop. The app just never gave me a reason to leave. Every time I got off my phone, I'd feel guilty for the hours I had spent scrolling. But sometimes social media was beneficial. I would hear about a crazy upcoming winter storm, or laugh at a funny try not to laugh video. But here's the thing, I never felt completely satisfied with the time that I spent on my phone. I just kept on scrolling, making excuses to myself that I was looking for the answers to my problems. But in reality, I was just avoiding them, telling myself that there was always more time. This was my escape. I had spent so much time watching other people's lives that I lost sight of my own. I knew I had to make a change. When I got off my phone, I noticed things that I didn't before. I slept better. I could focus longer. But the biggest thing, I started noticing the small moments in life. A sunset, right there in front of you. When you're looking down at your phone, you can walk right past it. The moment you look up, it's like the world comes back into focus. It's just that endless cycle we get lost in, quietly eating away at the minutes we could be spending on something real. You're not weak for struggling with your phone. Your brain is literally still learning how to resist these rewards. But here's the good news. There are ways to practice self-regulation and escape the temporary dopamine cycle. The hard part isn't knowing what to do. It's actually doing it. The algorithm is designed to pull you back in. So you need systems that work even when your willpower fails. For me, every night before bed, I put my phone down the hall in the laundry room. It sounds small, but it helps me get right into my nightly routine without getting distracted and prevents me from reaching for it the moment I wake up. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember, and I can tell you for sure that I feel the difference. To take the place of scrolling before I go to sleep, I started journaling. This not only helped me clear my mind, but also helped me focus on who I truly am. And for those few minutes, I'm so focused on my own thoughts that I don't need my phone to fill the silence or distract me. But if it doesn't work for you, try removing distracting apps from your home screen, setting time limits on screen time on apps, or even silencing notifications. These small actions can make a bigger impact than you think. Just start. One action leads to another. Once you look up, you'll find you have time for things you thought you didn't before. So, I challenge you this week. Notice when you feel most drawn to your phone. Ask yourself, what am I actually looking for? Distraction, connection, escape? Most of the time we reach for our phones without even knowing why. But once we understand the why, it's easier to make the better choice. So, you stop eating chocolate when you start to feel sick. Or with your phone, you can't feel the damage, the guilt, the regret, the wasted time. It all builds up so slowly that by the time you realize something is wrong, stopping feels impossible. So, with chocolate, you eventually run out. But with your phone, you can't feel the damage. No. With your phone, there's always another bar. It's up to you whether you keep taking it. But the question is, will you? Thank you.